By bringing these top business executives on his trip to China, what do you think Trump is looking to achieve?
We have to remind ourselves that this visit is happening against the backdrop of an increasingly unpopular war in Iran. Over the past couple of months, we've seen ceasefires turn on, turn off. We've seen Straits of Hormuz and the blockages there still creating havoc with international energy markets. And right now, we don't have a peace deal on the table that is acceptable to both sides. So, at a time where the population, the American voters, are becoming increasingly impatient with the progress of this war, Donald Trump definitely needs a win. And I do think that this visit to China is his way of giving the people something that they can celebrate. If there are economic deals on the table that he can deliver home to, that might help to turn around his waning popularity ahead of midterm elections in November.
What can we expect from this delegation? Do you see any major deals coming out of it?
I think there will be a lot of deals that come out of it that President Trump can sell as a win. You may recall that in April of last year, China blocked its commercial airlines from receiving deliveries of Boeing aircraft and aircraft componentry. This was at the height of the tariff tit for tat between the US and China. And so this Boeing deal was a little bit of the collateral damage of that escalating trade dispute. Now it seems that relationships are repairing, and there has been reporting that one of the big deals to potentially come out of this visit is that China will allow Boeing equipment and components to return back to the Chinese market. Agriculture is always a really sensitive point for American consumers and the American trade system. So, more deals on agriculture, particularly on more in investment, more trade on things like soybeans, which we saw was a really big part of previous trade negotiations. I think that will all help to cement President Trump's self image as a deal maker.
What does NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang's absence from the group mean for bilateral tech export controls and the AI race?
I do think there is something there about the US trying to withhold some of those frontier companies because of the sensitivities around AI competition. So that's NVIDIA, OpenAI, and Anthropic. None of these companies are represented in the trade delegation to China. It does strike me as a little bit too much of a coincidence. Jensen Huang, in particular, he rarely foregoes an opportunity to promote NVIDIA's business in China. So there's a couple of ways of reading this. One is that it's potentially to neutralize any criticism of a deal on AI. You may recall that in previous negotiations where the Trump administration has decided to trade off access to chips, he has faced a lot of criticism from China hawks back home. So, this may be a way to ameliorate some of those sensitivities around how much of national security sensitive technologies the United States is willing to trade. Another, perhaps more optimistic reading on my part is that perhaps Beijing and Washington are trying to set the ground for some more positive and collaborative discussions about AI safety and risks.